Hello and welcome once again to my lair. I am your host, Numbskull the Lich, and my co-host is once again back, the Talking Crow / my familiar, Mango. And today we will be speaking of those people that we put in front of us casters so that they may take the swords, the arrows, and the hordes of nuisances so that we may cast and modify the world in relative safety. The fighter. Yes, it sounds relatively generic, and that is because it is one of the most open-ended roles within any group of adventurers. Be it heavy armor, tower shield, and a mace, or your classic sword and board and medium armor or breastplate, to mid-ranged throwing axes, bolas, and nets, grapplers. These meat shields are very useful. Do you have anything to say so far?
Despite simplistic appearances, the simple fact of the amount of diverse weapons and skills available to the fighters allows them to be a relatively well-varied class, featuring builds and styles that, growing to an extent that you might consider it hard to narrow down or hard to pick what direction you should move in when playing as one of these.
I did once see a fighter go from surrounded by hordes of kobolds to within a single swing of his greatsword, cleaving through 3 of them at once, causing the rest to scatter. This was long ago, but that fighter served me well. Still serves me, although in a different capacity. They are fantastic for defense, consistent offense, and often considered one of the more trustworthy members of a given adventuring party to the small and the common folk. Where your caster might come in hooded and robed, literally glowing with magical power. Your cleric, in his vestments and religious iconography. The fighter is often just a good old boy. They can come from pretty much any background, from the humble farmer who decided to enroll in the military for adventure and a chance at bettering his lot, to the tradition of a 3rd or 4th son within a noble family who, with little inheritance prospects, is encouraged to take some of their father's wealth, purchase the best off-the-shelf gear they can at their local blacksmith, and charge headfirst into the nearest dungeon in the hopes that they come out rich, while more often than not simply being somebody's loot drop who went in there more prepared and understanding what the dangers are. Many a nobleman's son got sent to deal with trolls in caves with no idea that you are supposed to bring fire to that fight. You do not walk away from that fight without fire.
What else could be expected when you've lived a relatively pampered life in that situation? It's not like they would know how to lace up their own garments, much less how to handle a mighty beast in its home territory.
But for every pampered nobleman's son and good old farm boy, when they have gone through it a little bit and they get a little bit of dirt on their armor and not scratches on their sword, very little can stand up in a straight test of might against a fighter. They will more often than not be one of the first into the fight and the last to leave. If you are in a tight spot, they will be the first one to offer you a hand. Often to a point of absurdity. For the good ones, at least. There are just as many rotten eggs in this particular group. Your standard bandits and brigands. People who use that strength and training to trample on others. Outlaws who, in any civilized lands, would be hunted down and with their heads on pikes, so as to dissuade such behaviors. Or, better yet, allowed to atone by being raised as skeletons and made to work in the fields.
You love free labor.
A good character example of a fighter would be Guts, otherwise known as the Black Swordsman, who carries the blade Dragon Slayer, often described as a sheer hunk of metal. He has a versatile set of skills and weapons, from prosthetics that have been needed to make up for former injuries, to a single-minded determination to obtain revenge. He is a very iconic figure.
A true testament to human determination, with a well-rounded and varied skill set acquired from a lifetime of hardship. Even Guts, with his prodigious strength that allows him to wield the Dragon Slayer, knows better than to rely on one tool the entire time. Built into his prosthesis is a cannon that he can use, and along his journeys, he has acquired a repeating crossbow that can be mounted onto the mechanical arm that he possesses to allow him to have more ranged options.
Another archetype and good example would be Conan the Barbarian. A slightly misleading title, as I do believe the fighter class fits him much more. He has been everything from a slave, gladiator, and thief to a pirate, adventurer, rising up to the point of king through conquest and skill. The lands of Hyperborea are a brutal and destroyed area full of sorcerers who corrupt the very essence of themselves and everyone around them. And the heroes are rarely what you would consider classically heroic. Conan himself rarely appears in anything more than a loincloth wielding a massive two-headed axe. He wields prodigious strength and has prodigious strength. He has prodigious strength and dexterity to wield a vast array of weapons. He wields a large array of weapons, but his most iconic is the two-headed axe, along with his notable climbing skill, sneaking, knowing multiple languages. He is a very deceptively capable man.
Conan stands as a testament to the different themes of fighter that a player could make, while not fitting the traditional image that one would have of a stalwart knight in armor on the front lines or what have you. He certainly fills the role and lives up to the expectations one places on what the character can handle within the confines of combat.
And moving onwards to our third archetype, Geralt of Rivia, a witcher in his world. He is trained with swords as well as bow and crossbow, He is close to what I would call an Eldritch Knight or a Gish, leaning much closer to the fighter side of that scale than any caster side. He is, by his own trade, well versed in monster lore, what is effective against the various creature types within his world, and his Witcher school, the Wolf School, has their own fighting style and codes to live by. While he is a Witcher and thus has his codes that he has to live by, such as always taking payment for a job, that payment does not necessarily come in coin. It can be favors. There is within his world what is known as the law of surprise, where when you return to your home, the first thing that meets you is what is the payment. It could be a prized family heirloom. It could be your dog. It could be your child. The law of surprise is a very harsh law, but it is often a tool used to recruit more Witchers, as Witchers in this world are made, not born. Through a process called the Trial of the Grasses, a Witcher is given an extended life, greatly enhanced strength, speed, endurance, resilience, healing, senses, immunity to disease and conventional poison, and extreme resistance to pain. It is a horrific process, as it makes you something less and more than human. It also makes you infertile. The Witchers themselves, though, do, in my opinion, fit with the fighter archetype. They are primarily melee, although they do have access to minor spells such as shields, basic fire blasts, and wards to see and trap invisible creatures. Their primary tool is the silver sword for monsters and steel for men.
Receiving well-rounded training from their youth and going out into the world to further hone those skills and apply them to earn money and make their way in the world, while not being afraid to employ some extremely basic forms of magic. Witchers as a concept are yet another interesting way in which the class diversifies itself without losing its core identity by allowing players to experiment with the specialties of squishier classes.
So, with those examples in mind, consider carefully what you would like to do. If you are strong and dexterous and of good health, maybe you should don that mail armor that's been sitting in your grandfather's closet all these years. Take the sword off the mantle and go out. Search for your fortune, but do try to take a few friends along with you. A good caster who can buff you and help you keep and be the best you can possibly be. A healer who, obviously, seals up all those cuts you'll be taking for the caster, who will buff you and make you the best you can possibly be. And a shield to prevent those cuts, at least a few of them. And maybe a rogue, because while you might be very good at breaking doors with your axe, your hammer, your sword, your fists, your face, sometimes a rogue with a simple set of lockpicking tools will do that job just as well. And you will have the patience for such a occasion because you are a fighter and not a barbarian. Remember, protect your backline, they will keep you alive, and protect your caster because he will make you the best you can be. I have been the Rambling Lich. I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again. Bye.